Hi guys, you are watching Weekend Movie Channel, and these are 20 underrated movies of 2023 that you missed or are worth watching. I hope everyone will find something new to watch, and if not, follow the links in the description below to other good videos. You will probably find something new to watch. Big George Foreman. George Foreman's early years were bleak. The family was poor, at school bullied, and teachers were afraid of an unkempt beggar boy. Having grown up, the hero begins to rob street drunks. One day he and his partner try to rob a man who turns out to be an undercover policeman. During an attempt to arrest the thieves, they scatter to the sides. Then George decides to change his life, no longer wanting to risk going to prison. So in the life of a young man appears boxing. With blood and sweat, the hero chews his way to the pedestal. His hard work pays off. He wins gold at the Olympic Games and the title of world champion in heavyweight. However, ahead of the athlete still awaits a lot of difficulties that will test his strength. The movie is based on the real story of the legendary boxer George Foreman. The picture la sorelli narrates the life of the main character, confidently following the proven patterns of sports movies. This is a story about a man with incredible fortitude, courage, and a huge heart. The Caine Mutiny Court-Martial. The events of the movie unfold in the courtroom. In the dock is Lieutenant Stephen Marek. During a violent storm, he suspended the commander Philip Quigg from the command of the warship Caine. The breach of regulations was deemed nothing less than mutiny. The atmosphere in the courtroom is tense. Each of the heroes will have to desperately fight for their honor and dignity. The movie is based on the play by Herman Wouk, written by him on the basis of his own novel. The inspiration for the writer was his service during the Second World War. However, the director transferred the events of the movie to the 20s of our century, betraying the story to the present day. In fact, the picture is made according to all the canons of courtroom dramas: dim sets, emotional sides of the defense and prosecution, as well as impartial justice, which gives a fair verdict to the main characters. The movie emphasizes the directorial skills of William Friedkin. The director invites the viewer to pass his judgment, refusing to take sides. Maggie Moore's. Jordan Sanders is a small-town cop who has been grieving for his dead wife for a year. Soon he has to solve a complicated case. In their quiet town, in which the police is not really needed, suddenly there is a murder. The body of a girl named Maggie Moore is found. The sheriff is just starting to investigate, when suddenly there is another murder. And again, the murdered girl's name was Maggie Moore. The case turns into a real puzzle. Modest but quite original movie successfully combines the genres of crime thriller, black comedy, and even rom-com. There is a good cast, vivid characters, as well as a lot of great humor. The picture is reminiscent of the Coen brothers movies, especially Fargo, and will definitely appeal to all fans of such films. There is an interesting story, and the tape will keep in suspense, and along with this will have fun. Boksoon. Boksoon, a single mother, tells everyone around her that she works for a party organizing company. Her 15-year-old daughter also believes this legend. In reality, however, Boksoon is the best employee in an elite corporation of assassins. She can easily kill a target in the center of the city without being seen, but living a double life is becoming increasingly difficult. Her teenage daughter suddenly closes in on herself and refuses to talk to her mother. A stylish Netflix-produced action movie that can certainly be accused of borrowing a lot from John Wick. From similar conflicts to the same hurricane action. But the realization of the ideas and the movie as a whole came out on a very high level. In addition to the fight scenes, which are really impressive, there are charismatic characters, family drama, and black humor. The movie entertains, and most importantly, it is interesting to watch. The Promised Land. The movie takes place in the year 1755 and tells the story of the knight Ludwig van Caine, who is tasked with building a prosperous colony in the wild barren lands in the name of the Danish king. If Caine can do this, he will not only become wealthy, but he will also receive a royal title. Things get complicated when he becomes the enemy of the region's ruthless ruler, Frederick de Schenkel, a tyrant who believes he should be the only man who owns the land. The conflict between the two is ignited after the appearance of Anne Barbara, a servant girl who has escaped from Schenkel. For its long history, the genre of historical drama was able to preserve its essence and remain relevant to this day. The creators of this Danish tape delight the viewer with their vision of the genre. The picture can be described as a hard realistic movie with impressive scenes of violence and deep themes that are raised throughout the narrative. Visually, the picture is full of warm colors, giving the events a sense of strength and seriousness. Somebody I used to know. The main character of the movie, Ellie, is a famous TV producer. She is ambitious and hardworking. But one day, after the reality show she produces is cancelled, the girl returns home to visit her mother for the first time in years. In her small country town, Ellie runs into Xuan, her first love. She discovers she still has feelings for him. And even though the guy is engaged to another girl, the heroine does not let go of the chance to reunite with him. This tape uses tropes proven by many other romantic comedies, telling perhaps a classic love story. However, here the authors have tried to make the movie not so much about love, but about accepting oneself. The authors portray love vicissitudes with irony, not forgetting to show the inner feelings and personal growth of the characters. The picture keeps a good balance between romance, comedy, and drama. Because of this, movie is easy and interesting to watch. The Boys in the Boat. America in the 30s. Joe Rance comes from a dysfunctional family and struggles to pay his tuition at Washington University. All hopes for a bright future are fading before his eyes as he can't find a job. Then a classmate, Roger Morris, suggests that he apply to the university rowing team because there will pay a salary. In childhood, the guy was not particularly fond of sports, but if it pays, he is in business. However, everything turned out to be not so simple. Applications to join the team are many, and there are only 8 places. But there are no options left for Joe, and then he does everything he can to get there. The movie is based on the book of the same name by Daniel James Brown, which tells the story of a youth rowing team that got to Berlin for the Summer Games of 1936 years. The director of the picture was George Clooney. It centers the story around Joe, a hard-working man who, despite setbacks, chews the ground on his way to success. It is a truly inspiring story of courage and dedication. Ballerina. In the past, Jang Wook-ju was a private bodyguard and got into dangerous situations more than once. When she decides to quit, she comes to visit her close friend Min-hee. Unexpectedly, Wook-ju learns that the girl committed suicide. She left a suicide note in which she asks her friend to punish the local gangster involved in her death. She discovers that Choi Pro is abusing women, filming it on camera and then selling the videos. She develops a plan and decides to get the bandit by any means and make him pay for the pain he caused. To do this, she will have to remember her old days. Speaking of the plot, it's a fairly simple revenge story in which Wook-ju uses all her skills to get justice. However, the way the story is presented on screen is of utmost importance, playing with light, camera movement, and unorthodox angles. All this creates a dark, lingering atmosphere. This picture is worth getting acquainted with for everyone who likes stylish driving action movies. The Great Escaper. A touching story about Bernard Jordan, a World War II veteran and participant in the Normandy landings. On the eve of the 70 years since the infamous events, and the man reverently remembers his battle buddies. But unfortunately, he is unable to attend the veterans' reunion because he is attached to his elderly wife Irene. Soon, however, Irene herself suggests that her husband go to the celebration. Thus begins Jordan's adventure through the corners of his memories. Crossing the English Channel, he touches his past for the last time in his life. The picture successfully conveys the atmosphere of nostalgia about bygone times and people who have left this world. A slight sadness will accompany the viewer from the beginning to the end. The authors have told a simple story in the most caring way towards their characters. The acting performances are above all praise. Michael Caine and Glenda Jackson brilliantly played an elderly couple who together experienced a lot of grief. This is a light and soulful movie that is worth watching. Quiz Lady. The main character named Anne lives her measured routine life in the suburbs of Philadelphia and seems content with everything. Returning from work, she sits down at the TV set in the company of her dog Linguini and turns on her favorite TV show Quiz Lady. One day her mother goes missing from the nursing home, and to find the woman, Caine's flighty sister Jenny arrives. However, the arrival of the little sister is only the beginning of a string of problems. So unexpectedly kidnap the heroine's favorite dog, Linguini. Loan sharks demand to pay the debt, which belongs to their mother. Cunning Jenny decides to pay the debt in an unusual way, to get to the very quiz and win a cash prize. To do this, they will need Anne's exceptional talent at this game. The movie is great for a light evening viewing. The witty script, coupled with a gorgeous ensemble cast, creates a truly charming and heartwarming action on the screen. coup de chance. Pretty Fanny has met many bad men on her life path, but in the end she married the imposing Jeanne, who gave her everything she could dream of. It seems to be the love till the grave, though not everything is so clear in this story. The girl accidentally meets Alan, her former classmate. Now he works as a writer and is going through a divorce. In conversation, it turns out that the man was deeply in love with Fanny back in high school. Sincerity bribes the heroine, and soon their frequent lunches lead to romantic dinners. However, a real threat follows this relationship. Director Woody Allen does not change himself for almost 60 years of creativity. The setting is still as elegant as ever, a light tone and a special charm. The movie combines the genres of melodrama, thriller, drama, and comedy. Despite the banality of the plot, the picture charms with an atmosphere of nostalgia. It is a leisurely, but also not boring movie, which will appeal to fans of the director as well as may interest the casual viewer. Blood and Gold. The events of the movie unfold in spring, in the last days of World War II. German deserter Heinrich, who has run away to find his daughter, is caught by an SS unit. The Nazis want to hang the defector, but the man is saved by a local resident, a brave girl named Elsa. Meanwhile, the SS arrive in the village and begin to search the ruined house of the Jews in search of a large amount of gold. Heinrich and Elsa realize that they have much more in common than a common enemy. They embark on a bloody path of fighting for justice. Excellent staging turns a story of revenge into a fascinating action. The movie is filled with exciting fight scenes. The picture ranges from a serious drama about the Second World War to a funny, absurd comedy. Do not expect plausibility from the tape. All the action is exaggerated and not serious. Nevertheless, it is worth watching for the sake of spectacular scenes and good acting. Jeanne du Barry, 18th century French Versailles. The main character, Jeanne Webernier, is young and beautiful. All she dreams of is to get out of poverty into the world of luxury and wealth. Envious of the noble ladies, she decides to get into high society at any cost. She seduces a number of aristocrats, including Count du Barry. Finally, the woman attracts the attention of King Ludwig XV. Jeanne's past immediately becomes known, and the king's entourage is not thrilled with his connection with the courtesan. However, this does not stop the calculating heroine from her goal. She quickly becomes the king's favorite, completely capturing his heart. If you like costume dramas, this movie is a great option for evening viewing. Authentic scenery, classical compositions correspond to the French flavor. The development of relations between the king and the courtesan, as well as other intrigues of the royal court, comes to the fore. The creators masterfully conveyed the atmosphere of the time, telling a chamber love story. Miranda's Victim. In the year 1966, a legal requirement called the Miranda Rule was introduced in the United States, whereby a suspect must be advised of his or her rights at the time of arrest, and the arresting officer must receive an affirmative answer to the question of whether the suspect understands what is being said. The movie's plot recounts the historical case that marked the advent of this rule. Patricia Trish Wire was kidnapped and raped by Ernest Miranda. The brave girl manages to put the criminal behind bars, but the suffering of the Trish family does not end there. The movie depicts the historical background, immersing the audience in the social and cultural context of the 60s. Visually, the movie perfectly conveys the spirit of the time, and the costumes and sets play an important role in this. Fans of courtroom dramas will definitely enjoy the movie because of its multi-layered plot and the atmosphere of tension in the courtroom. Mr. Monk's Last Case, a Monk movie. Mr. Monk returns to solve another case. This time it involves him personally. His stepdaughter Molly is getting ready for her wedding, but a tragic accident sets off a series of mysterious events. A quirky private detective will have to deal with what's going on, even as a coronavirus pandemic rages in the streets of the city. The original series Monk was launched in 2002 and lasted for 8 seasons. During this time, the story of an extraordinary detective from San Francisco won a huge love of viewers around the world. 14 years later, its full-length sequel is released on the screens. The picture is a sample of classic detectives, where the main character unravels the case, studying various minutiae. The intrigue is kept on how to bring out the mysterious criminal. The chemistry between the actors is still palpable despite the passage of time. This contributes to the nostalgic charm of the movie. A heartwarming reunion that captures the tone and spirit of the original show seems relevant in today's day and age. Next goal wins. Soccer coach Thomas Rongin, known for his explosive temper, loses his place in the US youth national team. Then it is decided to send the grumpy hero to American Samoa, a territory in the Pacific Ocean, formerly belonging to the United States. Here, as in the rest of the world, there is its own national soccer team. However, the inhabitants can hardly boast of its achievements. So, throughout history, the local team has not won a single game, and 10 years ago set an anti-record of international competitions, losing to Australia with a score of 31-0. The next World Cup qualifying match will take place in 3 weeks' time. Thomas will have to raise the national team from scratch and give hope to the players. Above all, it's a farce about a team that doesn't succeed. Director Taika Waititi successfully combines humor and drama on the screen, creating a simple but interesting cocktail of emotions and feelings. And while the movie doesn't strive to offer any thoughtful commentary, it's well suited for a light evening viewing. Special delivery. Jang En-ha works in a small semi-legal company that delivers unusual cargoes. Most often they are connected with crime. The girl does not ask unnecessary questions and phenomenally performs her work. One day she gets a task to meet a man with his son, but unexpectedly, only the child comes to the meeting place. Chan has no idea what kind of dangerous adventure she is getting into when she decides to help the boy. The plot of the movie is simple and banal. The plot is barely different from most crime action movies. However, here, first of all, the viewer is brought up by bright, memorable characters, performed by excellent Korean actors. As befits an action movie, the movie is rich in dynamic action scenes. The heroes race cars and fight in hand-to-hand combat to upbeat music, making the movie spectacular. The movie is somewhat old-fashioned in a good way, and this does not prevent the story from working, and the picture is fascinating and mesmerizing. The tape is perfect for evening viewing. The Beanie Bubble. The movie tells the story of the birth of Thai Beanie Babies brand, the personalities behind the company's success, and the plush toy boom that swept America in the 90s. The story of Ty Warner, the founder of the brand, is told through 3 different women he met along his life's journey. The first is Robbie, a business partner. The second is Sheila, a single mom who dated Warner. And the third is Maya, an assistant who, at 17, is already starting to bring in big profits for the company. Soon, the dirty underbelly of the successful production of successful cuddly toys is revealed. At the heart of the picture is the real story of the American billionaire Ty Warner. Despite the abundance of similar biopics swooped on the screens in recent years, this movie manages to stand out thanks to a strong plot and bright original characters. This is a story about the pursuit of success, about the ups and downs, about how money and power can turn a person's head and awaken in him the most despicable qualities. Prisoner's Daughter. 12 years former boxer Max spent behind bars. The man is informed that he has the last stage of cancer. He is given very little time. Then the hero is allowed to spend the rest of his days with his daughter and grandson. However, daughter Maxine is still not ready to forgive her father for his criminal past. But the lack of money forces her to shelter the old man at home. So the man tries to establish relations with his kin, atoning for his deeds. Gradually, the wall of misunderstanding between relatives collapses. Throughout the film, the viewer is immersed in a complex, multi-level family drama, full of resentment and disappointment. Simple in execution, the picture contains important messages, and the movie will definitely be a good choice for the evening. Influencer. Madison is a true social media star. She spends her vacation at a posh resort in Thailand alone because her boyfriend cancelled the trip at the last minute due to work. During the trip, Madison meets a mysterious and fearless girl who knows the area very well. Her new acquaintance gives her an atmospheric tour of the untraveled trails and then shows her a completely unique place that Madison's subscribers are sure to love, the island that's not on the maps. A solid thriller that has the ability to surprise as the plot progresses. The author is talented in deceiving the audience's expectations, then keeps the interest and intrigue. The movie covers hot topics like relationships, social media, and popularity, and keeps the suspense perfectly. It is a beautifully shot, exciting thriller with a well-crafted and modern plot. Well, this is it. Thanks for watching. Share your movie impressions in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and put the big thumbs up. See you. Bye.